So what is a tailwheel aircraft? Well, a tailwheel aircraft is a little different than what you probably learn in a Cessna 172 or a Cessna 150 or even a Piper Archer. But, tailwheel aircraft are a lot different. And when you go to land these tailwheel aircraft, you can get into what's called a ground loop. And how are ground loops induced? Well, they're usually pilot induced, but we're going to get into that. But, from all the way from World War I, World War II, a lot of the earlier aircraft had conventional gear. And with conventional gear, the pilots were always at risk of ground loops. We're going to get into ground loops and we'll show you what it takes to ground loop an aircraft and how to avoid them. So most pilots end up learning in like a Cessna 172, as you see here, and it has tricycle gear, and tricycle gear is a lot easier to land on because you have the center of gravity forward of the two rear wheels versus the conventional gear where the center of gravity is behind. Think about a shopping cart being pushed backwards. It's kind of related to that. If you land with conventional gear, ground loops are very, very prone, and you have to be careful with it. As you can see on the Cessna 172 in the tricycle gear configuration, the center of gravity is forward of those rear tires. And when you look at the tail dragger, the Cessna 140 here, you can see that the wheels are a little bit further ahead, meaning the center of gravity is going to be behind these tires. And the nice thing about that is that it makes the plane look cool, but it makes it a little harder to fly and a little bit harder to land. So what is it that makes experienced pilots with hundreds, if not thousands of hours do this, a ground loop? Well, most of it is because they're not putting in the corrections that are necessary. And what I mean by this is they don't put in wind corrections. They don't put in the corrections either in the rudder, or they don't put the corrections in with the ailerons. And you'll see that on this next video. I thought this was a very well executed approach and landing, but if you notice that there's one thing that was missing here, in just a second you'll see what I mean. And as this airplane starts to touch down, you can tell, okay, he's starting to get out of whack. But what do you see here? Well, I see an aileron with no correction in it, not any bit whatsoever. That is a common mistake that most tailwheel pilots do, and that causes their ground loop. That causes the wing to touch the ground, is because they do not put in the wind correction and hold it there. The plane is not done flying until it has come to where it rests, where it parks. So remember that when you're flying a tailwheel, never, ever, ever stop flying the plane, even when it's on the ground and moving slow. Well, I want to thank you guys for watching this short video. It's a nice test video I wanted to do. I'm now using Adobe Premiere Pro. I used to use a different program for Macintosh, and this program actually has quite a few features that are really nice and really easy to use. It looks really confusing at first, and I was able to actually take a little bit of a tutorial from Trent Palmer. And, he had a video that he just recently put up, and he actually explained how he did most of his videos. And I was like, wow, that's actually really interesting. So I went ahead and purchased the subscription for this video, or for this product. And it's actually a really good product. So thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, then hit that thumbs up and go ahead and subscribe. And hopefully I'll be making more of these types of videos here in the future.